welcome back to Beauty Bees and to another dupe tutorial. I'm going to be sort of duping two different quads from Colourpop's new Ice Cream Bites collection. They are the blue and brown quad, which is for some inexplicable reason not called mint chip and instead called waffle cone, I think. And the pink and yellow one, which again should be called something along the lines of like strawberry banana split, but instead is called Sunday Fun Day. So yeah. Anyway, they kind of phoned it in on the names on this collection, but they are kind of cute little quads, so I thought I would play around with similar colors in my collection because I found them inspiring. So I'm going to do one eye with the pink and yellow quad, and then one eye with the mint and blue, the mint and brown. So let's get started. I had to do a little bit of adjusting to make sure that you would actually be able to see me apply my makeup, but I think we are good now. So I'm going to start with the Sunday Fun Day eye, which I think is going to be this side. And I'm just going to start by laying down some of this blush. This is Call My Blush from Bare Minerals. I will list everything that I use down in the description box. However, the point of this video is that you don't need the exact same products to get very similar looks. So, you know, I'm gonna list it, but take it with approximately a Pacific Ocean worth of salt. Maybe more like an Indian Ocean. Pacific Ocean's pretty big. Okay, so I just put a little bit of that pink in the crease. That's going to work to blend things out. I'm going for a lot of color on the lid. I just wanted something that would transition from really bold, bright color into my skin tone. So I think, speaking of bold, bright color, I'm going to go in with this matte yellow. This actually has a little bit of shimmer in it, very similar to the shade in the Colourpop quad. This is actually from Colourpop. And I'm going to put this over the inner half of my lid, roughly. It does build up pretty nicely. It's a little sheer at first, but you can get it there. Okay, so that's where I'm at. Hopefully the color in this video is decent. I have my questions based on what I see in the viewfinder. And now I'm going into this hot pink, and I'm going to put that on the outer half of the lid. Very neatly, as you can probably tell. Okay, so I've got that on. I do want to do a little bit of blending and a little bit of building up, so for that I'm going to go in with the smudger brush that actually looks pretty clean, so yay on that. Get more of that color and really build it up so it looks very hot pink in the outer corner. I'm getting some kind of orangey shades in the middle, which that's fine. That's kind of what I was going for anyway. I wanted a gradient rather than a really sharp yellow to pink transition. So, but I do want the actual gradient. I want to get to pink on the far side. So that's what I'm working to get to. Okay, I think that is good. And now I'm going to, again with the smudger brush, go into that same pink and put that under the the outer half of my lower lid. Lower lash line. I can't talk today, goodness. Now I'm just gonna clean that off on my wrist. It's probably not the best route, but You know, it's the one I'm taking today. I'm going to go into the yellow and do the inner half of my lower lash line. And now, here is where things are going to start to, I think, come together a little bit more. With this white, which is actually a very pearly shade, it has a lot of gold reflect to it. Let me see if I can't. I don't know how well it's going to come across on camera, but the reflect that is in this shade, which I think you can tell there is a reflect, is very golden. I'm going to put that in the very inner corner and put it over the yellow to just give that a little bit more dimension, lighten up that inner corner, and add some much needed shine to this look. I want to say that when I first saw this on Trend Mood, that this shade was actually listed as like a lime, or maybe that was in the purple palette. Anyway, one of them listed like a lime green sort of transformer shade, and I was so excited and actually played around with it yesterday. Well, not obviously the Colourpop shade, but a lime in my collection, and it was so pretty. I really, really enjoyed it. So Colourpop, get on that. I think that that's it for eyeshadow on that eye. I will do some winged liner, but let's just move to the eyeshadow on the other eye before we do that. And for this one, I haven't actually figured out what I'm gonna do, so you know, we'll work through that together. I think though that I'm going to start out with Meadow from this ProFusion palette, and I'm going to take that on, where's my brush? There it is. This concealer brush actually from Wet n Wild. I tend to use this as a shader brush though. I find that it does a really good job of laying down a lot of pigment at once. I think I'm just gonna cover like the outer 2/3 of my lid with this. Might be a little bit slow to build up, but it builds up a nice level of just even pigment. You know, thick and opaque, but even. And that's what I really have been enjoying about this brush. Also, I have glitter on my face. I don't know if it will come across on camera, but I hope it won't anyway. That's not fallout from any of these shadows. I am filming this in the evening. I was wearing glitter on my eyes and I took it off mostly, but you know, there's a few little pieces hanging out here and there. I just didn't care enough to remove it 100%. I also got so focused on putting on the shade that I went way further in than the outer 2/3, like I said. Oh well. It'll still be fun. So far, clearly we're going for something really soft and subtle on this eye. Maybe wear it to your office job. But I think that it will actually be helped quite a bit by the addition of this camel shade. I am going to use a crease brush for this, and I'm just going to really work that deep in the crease. I want to build that up to some extent because I actually do want to see that color. I do love how camel and blue pair together. I've been really looking at a ProFusion palette that pairs the two, and I know I don't need it because, well, frankly, I don't need any eyeshadow. That's not a need, just in general, and certainly not in my collection right now as is, because I have a lot of pans of eyeshadow. But it's just such a pretty contrast. Okay, So I might build that up a little bit further later, but for right now, I want to transition into the lighter, more shimmery blue. And I think that one of the closest things in my collection is probably this. Actually, I have, you know what? This isn't gonna be an exact dupe anyway, so why not use this shade, which is in my Canvas eyeshadows. I have some glitter glue here, and I'm going to apply my glitter glue, I think probably over the, well, certainly in the inner corner and then out probably to the 2/3 mark. I think that'll be pretty. I also got way too much glitter glue because I'm so used to applying it to 2 lids instead of 1. All right. Now this is actually my favorite brush for applying glitter as well, so I need to find my, oh, it was sitting right next to me. My color switch. Just gonna clean that off. I don't care if it's 100% clean, but it's close enough. And I'm going to go into this minty blue shade. I'm just going to start laying that down. I feel like this may not end up looking super minty, but I do think it will look pretty. And I'm making sure to get the glitter further into the inner corner than I put the deeper blue, because that's going to give me more dimension to this look. It effectively works as an inner corner highlight and then a slightly deeper version of itself. And then finally out in the very outer corner, you transition to just that deeper blue. I really like that gradient. Okay. So I'm going to go back into the camel. I'm going to really lightly go a little bit higher than I did earlier. I made the mistake of not going in with the camel first. I think that would have been a better choice for me because I muddied up the camel a little bit as it mixed in with the blue. But you know what? We're not in total bruise territory, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm just playing with makeup on a Friday night, so I'm not all that unhappy with it. However, this is the perfect time for my makeup eraser shade to come in. This is a really, really light pink, actually. It is from NYX, and for me it's a makeup eraser, not the trademarked kind, because this is close enough to my skin tone that it really just lightens up any bad choices I've made. It's not perfect, of course. I mean, it wouldn't undo like black eyeshadow, but it allows me to find forgiveness for a lot of bad choices. And I actually am kind of liking where that's at now. So 2 things that I want to do. First, I want to add some upper liner just with eyeshadow. The color in the quad from Colourpop is actually like a really cool tone dark brown. However, I actually don't have anything super similar, which is kind of surprising to me. So I'm just gonna use this really cool toned gray. Of course it's cool toned, right? It's gray, but I'm gonna use so little of it and keep it right along the lash line that I think is just gonna look dark and cool toned. And I think that's kind of what the brown would end up looking like as well. So I'm just going to smudge this right along the upper lash line, keeping it really close to the lashes. I'm not looking for anything really defined and dark. I'm just looking for a little bit of extra definition along the lash line. And I'm just going into a little bit more of that. And that is what it is giving me. So that eye is very nearly done. I think I'm going to go back in with this brush and into Meadow again, which was that deeper mint shade. And I'm going to use that to line along my lower lash line. I'm sure the face that I'm making will be very stupid as I'm doing this, but what can you do? Okay, so I think that is I1, well, I2 complete, I1 80% of the way there. I am going to add some winged liner, which I'm probably going to do off camera, not even on purpose, just I never managed to stay in frame as I'm putting on liquid liner, and then we will be back to discuss. So the eyeliner is on, and I also put on mascara while I was gone because of course I did. I feel like these eye looks in particular just wouldn't have looked complete without mascara. I also managed to get a little bit of eyeshadow on my nose, but I think I managed to get most of that off. That is one of the dangers of applying makeup with your fingers. You will either be very careful or you will touch another part of your face and need to wipe it off. So here's the final look. I am really happy with how these turned out, actually. I could see myself wearing either of these out. I mean, I basically have worn this out. I did this look except with a green instead of a yellow yesterday and really enjoyed it. Thought it was very, very pretty. This look, I would want to improve a little bit upon it. I feel like I could have done a better job with the camel. It's muddied a little bit, however. I think it's pretty, and makeup doesn't need to be perfect, so it's fun, and I really like the color scheme. Overall, am I going to be purchasing these Colourpop palettes? No. The colors that I would use often enough to justify the purchase of a quad of really pretty big pans I already own. And the shades that are a little bit more unique to my collection, the things that I don't have nearly spot-on dupes for, I don't want giant pans of. And clearly I'm able to get pretty similar looks to the two, I think, more unique quads in the collection without purchasing anything. And I would strongly encourage you, before you make really any eyeshadow purchase, but in particular before you purchase these Colourpop quads, to look into your own collection and see what you might have that's very similar. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, I will link my Dupetorials playlist. They're all pretty formulaic, so if you liked this one, there is a very decent chance you will like the others. Thanks again for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing if you thought this was a good time, and I hope that I will see you in the next one. Bye!